Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the CapesandLunatics. Me, Phil. Justin is here.
Woohoo.
Kristen is here.
Hello.
And making a return appearance, a very good friend of the show. I think she's up there, one of the people who've made the most amount of appearances on our show, Miss Kelly Thompson. Hello.
Hi. Thanks for having me back, guys.
And we are talking because today we got the first Marvel DC crossover of this year from Deadpool Batman, which this is kind of different than how they've done it before. This one's like an anthology, and Kelly has a story in this issue. Wow. With one of her creations, Jeff. It's Krypto and Jeff. So Jeff is making the big time now, hanging out with big movie stars.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, no disrespect to Krypto, who's a very good boy, but it was wild to me that Jeff has sort of accumulated enough fandom that, I mean, because Marvel has a ton of really great, animal-shaped characters they could have put in this role. So I feel a little bad for all those other animals. I apologize. I love you all. But also, Jeff is the best. What are you going to do? So it was honestly really cool. Like, the idea that Krypto gets chosen for this, which completely makes sense. And he's been around for like 60 years or something. And Jeff also gets it. And he's been around for 7. It's really, I mean, I would love to say Daniele, Gurihiru, and I are all geniuses, but I think we all know it's the power of video games and exposure. But I mean, I do think there's something to, again, no swing on Krypto, but I do think that part of what has captured people's hearts a little bit about Jeff is that he's not just a dog or a cat or a bird or he's like a weird creature, he's like a not quite real thing, and that's fun. We love the fantasy of that, so.
And he can keep up and play volleyball with the Kryptonians. So
yeah, it was I was so honored that we got offered to do this and that we got to be a part of it. It was really not on my radar. I knew they were doing stuff, but I hadn't been asked about anything, and I was pretty busy on my schedule, so I didn't know if it was going to happen. But I was so grateful, but I was pretty nervous because, I knew we were only getting 5 or 6 pages, and I knew they'd be silent. So, there's only so much you can do as far as giving someone a story that has any kind of resonance, So I think we had to lean. I wanted them to do some superheroics together, but I couldn't really figure out how to do that in a way that worked in 6 pages, unless you were going to establish that they've already know each other. Like, it was just hard to establish without the words. I mean, we're fortunate that Gurihiru are such incredible storytellers that they were actually able to get a ton out of these 6 pages, which I was grateful for. But I'm glad people are liking it because I was a little nervous. Like, I mean, I know it was just Gurihiru and I doing our thing, so I knew it wasn't going to be like horrible, but I just worried that people were getting too excited, like some of the discourse I saw. But I love to shoot myself in my foot. It's my favorite activity.
I was going to say, yeah, your biggest doubter is yourself, Kelly. So, yeah.
Yes, it 100% is. Well, I mean, perhaps until, recent developments. Sorry. I'm trying not to talk about a fascist nightmare we're all entering into. Sorry. I'm not trying to get into that. I just, maybe there are bigger enemies than myself.
So that was gonna be one of my questions is how did this come about? So did an editor reach out to you?
Yeah, I think I don't know how they decided, but it was my first chance to work with Mark Basso over at Marvel. I've known Mark a little bit for years and years, since I used to go to the Marvel summits and stuff. And we had talked a couple times about doing some fun things. Like, there was a Conan thing we talked about and some stuff like that, but just never worked out. So this was my first chance to work with him. He was great. It was honestly one of the easiest projects I've ever done, which is not what you expect when you're, when they're like, oh, you're going to have to coordinate with multiple publishers and editing teams or whatever. I do think, I can't speak to how they did it for everyone, but I suspect, given what happened with me, that it was a similar thing where they just assigned either Marvel or DC to edit a certain story. It still had to get approval from both publishers. Like, our story had to go through both rounds, but I was really only dealing with Mark at Marvel. And so that made it very easy. It was just like doing a short for anything else. And I'm happy to say that the approval process was incredibly easy. Everybody was very happy with how it all went. I think the secret in the sauce there is that Guri Hero just sort of, they make you want to say yes to everything. They're just easy to deal with. They're so talented, and it's terrific.
So did they give you the characters like, okay, it's gonna be Jeff and Krypto?
Yeah, they were like, it's Jeff and Krypto. You have 5 pages. It's you and Guri Hero. Do you want to do it? And I was like, I mean, yes, say less. I was like, that's great. And they only gave us 5 pages, and I don't want to say I bitched about it, but I did express concern. I was like, I understand this can't be the feature, but these characters don't talk. Guri Hero is great at storytelling, and that will help, but it's still a lot to ask, for characters across worlds who, in theory, don't really know each other. And they were like, we know, but that's all we've got. And then somehow they ended up giving us another page. So I don't know what happened. Maybe they made the book bigger because they expanded, or maybe they just liked the story enough and they were like, yeah, we can give one more to this to really land it. But yeah, they were great. It was a great experience. My only complaint, honestly, is that I guess Marvel handled the comps for this instead of DC, which means I have no comps. And maybe in a month I'll get some. Whereas if DC had handled the comps, I would have had a ton of them, and I would have had them last week or something. So that's my only complaint. Marvel, get better at your comps, man. It sucks. Please, God. It's infuriating. I can't even tell you the difference. It's night and day. It's shocking. Anyway.
So they specifically asked you to do the Jeff one, which again, I mean, of course, you're Jeff's mother, but I'm like, you've written Deadpool before. There's other characters I'm sure you could have done, but
I think nobody. I think there's a couple things there. I think first of all, this is the one that made sense for me to do, and that they knew I would want to do. I think also there's a thing a little bit where, when someone's doing a big thing that's going well, like Absolute Wonder Woman is, like, sometimes, I'm not saying DC was like, no, we don't want her writing a bigger story. I'm not saying they said that. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, let's not distract her completely. Especially because, my health has been like annoyingly frustrating. There's nothing serious, but it's like one of those things, which I'm sure we've all experienced in our lives, where you've got a lot of frustrating, irritating symptoms, and you can't sort of pin down like what is the thing. And then even when you finally sort of figure it out, it's like, yeah, there's nothing we can do about that. Change your diet, try this over the counter thing or that thing. It's like that kind of thing. But I've been really struggling with it the last year. And my editor on Birds of Prey, Rob, and Jessica, I mean, they've been putting up with me really struggling to stay on top of things. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, maybe don't give her the biggest project ever. She should do the 6-page short. I wouldn't have blamed them if they felt that way. I don't like being late. Nobody likes to be late. You're only as good as your reputation in this business. So it's it's a thing. But
Kelly, you're in a book with a Kevin Smith story. I don't think they were worried about you being late.
Wait, so since you're Jeff's mom, are you the one that sent the note that says, Jeff, come home, dinner's ready?
No, that's Kate Bishop. I saw that era.
That's got to be Kate or Clint. I mean, I think the obvious.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. We got to get those purple arrow, man. Yeah, so that was fun. It was also fun. I mean, it's like the deepest of cuts, but my friend Sophie Campbell is doing the Supergirl book, so it was fun to just even get like a tiny little tease of Supergirl in there. It was nice, and so it was good. It was a really great experience. It was not the experience you think you're going to have when you take on something that sounds like this. I mean, when I knew they were doing this, I think I groaned, not because it didn't sound like a good idea, but just because once you're inside the machine, you're like, boy, that sounds like a lot of coordination, a lot of work. So this was sort of a perfect fit for me.
I mean, on a personal level, I mean, the celebration had to be once you found out this was happening. You had to be celebrating hard. So again, your original creations in a Marvel DC crossover, which we haven't done one of these in what 20 years.
Yeah, I it's funny, my parents they don't really understand about comics. They don't know much about it. They're very supportive, but it's always a little bit like leading them by the hand. And so I had told them about this. I was like, oh, hey, I get to do this cool short story in this Marvel DC crossover thing. I was like, but what's cool is that they want to use Jeff, which, he's my little baby. And look, they never do these crossovers. Like they've only really done them like, before. It's been a long time. And my parents are like, oh yeah, that's so nice. That's so nice. And then I like completely don't, not that they don't care, but just like they didn't understand what I was trying to say about like why it's different than any other number of stupid things I tell them. And so then my mom went with my nephews to see Superman, and she's like, yeah, she goes, they told me that Krypto and Jeff are going to be in a movie together. And she was like, do you know anything about that? I was like, well, no, because that's not real. I was like, but I am writing this short story that I told you about. And she's like, oh yeah, that's great. Like once it was comics, she didn't care again. It's like, it's actually a great way to help understand like that people they just have these narrow visions. Like even when they're, my mom just doesn't care about comics. She doesn't understand that industry. She doesn't know what's important to us, and that's fine. But I just think it's a very specific medium, but we see this all the time with things where we're like, man, Star Trek is my whole life. And then you meet somebody who just does not even give a shit about it, and it's like, we're all in these little islands of these things we love. And, I hope one day, before everyone dies, Jeff can be adapted into something that she'll appreciate. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm not meaning to drag you through the coals here. It's okay that you don't like comics.
Have they made Jeff plushies yet? They should get on that.
They have. They're limited. They're limited so far, but it is starting to pop off. It looks like they made a Marvel Rivals plush and also a Funko that's based on the Marvel Rivals, and there's also a keychain, and I guess something that's supposed to be a keychain, but it's such a large plush. I don't know how you'd use it as a keychain. So they're starting to amp up the merch, but in my opinion, they were way too slow on it, and they've really missed the boat. I mean, they could have made a killing last Christmas, and hopefully they'll do better this Christmas. But like, what are you guys thinking? I mean, I pitched a book last year that was like a book, not a comic, that they ended up saying no to. And my God, it probably would have been coming out last Christmas. And it was right when the Marvel Rivals hit. I mean, they just flushed that money. I think they would have made a fortune. It would have just sold out everywhere because people were so desperate for Jeff content. And here's this cool actual book you can put under the tree. Like, I think we would have made a killing. It's a bummer. But, it's this industry, there's a lot of that, like having to, sort of read the tea leaves on where you think something's going.
There you go. Jeff the
It is nice.
Yeah, that's the Marvel Rivals one. There is like a sort more Gurihiru version one, but those were all limited edition, so I don't know if they're still out there. I mean, you might be able to find them on eBay if they're not large enough.
Well, this one pre-order now, November 2025.
November,
yeah. And the Funko is the same. It's a pre-order. Is open now, I think. Anyway, it's been a surreal thing to experience. It's been great. I'm very grateful for a lot of things about it. But I do think that one of the sort of misnomers, I always see people online saying things like, oh, Kelly Thompson should just pick whatever project she wants now based on the success of Jeff. And let me tell you what, that is not how it works. That is not how it works.
I was gonna say, can anyone in the comics industry these days pick what they want?
Right? Yeah, I
I
don't think that happens anymore, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with Hollywood contracting the way it
Mm.
is. I mean, that's usually your way to some additional funds that help. I don't know, build you a 401k or something. But yeah, I'm still renting a 2-bedroom house. So for anyone who thinks I just don't have worries anymore.
Yeah, do you get a cut? Do you get a cut of those plushies?
I do not.
Oh man, really?
Yeah. Well, I
Bogus.
mean, we'll see. I mean, Marvel might be generous and give Daniele and I something. But the contracts are, as everyone I think knows, I'm not spilling any tea here. These contracts are pretty predatory to creators in the fact that they really limit what the payouts are for. They have to be for very specific things. So, and even so, it's not, it's not, I don't have to answer to anyone anymore money. But yeah, but it has been a nice perk. It's nice to see it rewarded. It's nice to see people responding. Someone asked me the other day for an interview, like if I was really connected to Jeff and like invested in it, or if I'm just like, yeah, wherever he goes. And I was like, no, I'm very invested. It will go terribly for me. Like, it's what it is.
So yeah, I was gonna say probably no cut of the merch, no cut of the video game action, none of it.
There's some money. I mean, I can't get into too much of this, but there's some money that you get for like TV appearances. He appeared on a Spidey thing and video game appearances and things, but
Okay.
So
it's not zero.
It's definitely not zero. It's not zero, and yeah, it's not zero. There's definitely money in there that helps you out, but it's not. You don't have to take jobs anymore. Money is all I'm trying to say. Like it's not like that pie in the sky thing.
Especially these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like a Spider-Man cartoon on that Disney Junior channel. We need a Jeff animated series or something on that.
Totally.
He would be great in that capacity. I think my big fear is that they'll put him in a movie that he doesn't belong in. I think that's my big fear about the next move. I just want them to be careful. I think they won't be because I don't know. Like, here's an example of what I would say the problem already is. I write most of Jeff's content, not all of it now because he's appearing in a lot of other things, but I have written and write most of his stories. And even I am confused by the trades and how they're collecting that. Like, I tried to write it up for my website the other day and I couldn't fucking figure it out. And that's a problem because I'm pretty in the know. So I think you have to be careful with like that sort of oversaturation. Like, are we recollecting this thing 50 times so that people are having to buy multiple trades of the same content? Like, it's a little tricky. So, but like I said, it's sort of hard to figure this stuff out. I know they have a lot of issues with that stuff, well beyond Jeff. Every company, like, how are the trades going to look together? And are we going to change the formatting, piss all the fans off? And then because the numbers don't line up on the side or whatever, it's a lot of little tiny death by 1,000 cuts kind of decisions they do in there, so it's hard. But I do think it would be better if we had a better plan, which doesn't seem to be happening right now.
So you're here to tell us that Jeff is not the protagonist of Avengers Doomsday.
She couldn't tell you that.
I know. Yeah.
I hope not. I mean, who knows? I definitely am not the first to know these things, so we'll see. But I would just rather see him in a place where he fits, or as the star of something. I mean, my ideal would be a Gurihiru style animated, like just animate his strips. Like that to me is the perfect. But he could do great in. I don't know if any of you guys saw those Groot shorts that were on Disney Plus. They were really great.
Yeah, those are great.
He could be great in that kind of capacity. And I'm not saying he can't show up in a movie or TV show. I just think tonally, where does he fit? Like, I feel like him appearing in a Captain Marvel movie would make no fucking sense, but him appearing in a Deadpool movie, more sense, right? So I just think there's like a scale there, but they're going to do what they're going to do, man. I don't know. I did hear rumors that they were making plans, so maybe one day I'll know what those plans are.
When the movie comes out.
Yeah, hopefully before that, but we'll see.
Maybe they'll invite you to it.
Yeah, they're pretty good about that. I have to say, I don't usually go because I'm a reclusive shut-in. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
Has
they
to
put
be
Jeff in
asked.
they put Jeff in a movie. You could be like, "Hey mom, look, there's my name at the end of the credits." Say it with everyone else.
yeah. I mean, listen, she's had to hear enough about Jeff. She'll be excited if he shows up in a thing, whether there are any name in credits or not. But yeah, it would be great if he could show up in something that she would understand.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Kelly, this was Kristen's first Jeff story.
Oh wow.
Well,
Wow.
I don't really read Marvel. Sorry.
That's okay. Hey, I'm mostly, except for Jeff, I'm a DC now, so that's fine.
She works everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So that's why I was asking right before you got on. I was like, is Jeff somebody's pet like Krypto, or is he a freelance?
So I don't like to call him a pet, but I wouldn't really like to call Krypto a complete pet. I mean, they just have more brain power than a pet. I mean, they're rescuing people. They have more agency than that. So I see Jeff as more like a freelancer where he just goes wherever he wants. And because he's so lovable, people just sort of accept it and take him in. I think we're maybe pushing the bounds of that a little bit. I saw something the other day and I was like, would that really happen? They were like, yeah, Jeff, good job. And it was like Black Panther or something. And I was like, I don't know if everyone is like, yes, I want this troublesome shark around. Like maybe this is my thing about like the saturation. Like maybe we need to be careful about how we pick these. I mean, I've just wrapped on that Jeff series that we've got right now. And I'm not trying to say it's great literature, but I went to extreme ends to try to make sure it like fit and made sense, and that the characters that interacted with him made sense, and that we could tell a story that would work even though the main character doesn't talk. And so it was fun. We got to play with form a lot, having Rogue touch him and be able to understand what he's saying to get through some of the tricky things. We had Rocket and Groot put a universal translator on him to try to find out what language he's speaking with all those MERS, and was bad news on that front. So, we played with a lot of stuff. It was really fun. He had these stones that he was eating sometimes and then throwing up because they were giving him powers. It was great. It was really fun. My favorite one is based on some of Toki Toro's art. They had some really cartoony stuff with Jeff and with other characters on their Insta, and I was really inspired by it. And so I made one of these gems that he swallows be a cartoon stone, so that when he eats it, everything goes like super cartoony. And like in issue 4, they use it on is issue 4 out yet? I can't remember. They use it on a dinosaur to very funny results, in my opinion. So it was great fun, but I feel like it all fit and made sense. And sometimes where I see him popping up, I'm like a little skeptically. I'm like, does that make sense? I don't know, but okay. So
do you think they're pushing Jeff into more and more stuff because they think maybe they're going to get some of the kids like, hey kids, look, Jeff's here. You should come, read this, watch this.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I hear from both readers and retailers all the time saying that they can sell the crap out of Jeff and to do more of that. So I can't really fault Marvel for doing that, but I do think a saturation problem is a saturation problem. And if you put him in everything, even if it's things he doesn't belong in, I don't know that helps your cause. But I do think, and it was one of the things I had, Ryan North, when we won the Eisner for Jeff last year, Ryan North did a little speech, and mostly what I talked about, other than how great Gurihiru and Daniele are, was that I was just, if it could get even one more kid reading comics, like, I'm here for it. Like, I created this series called Mega Princess pretty early in my career that was at Boom. And it was really frustrating because that was a great little book. It was super fun. Like, it should have been a cartoon, it was so great. And it was incredibly hard to market, and it was incredibly hard to find that market and to distinguish ourselves. And I was very frustrated by it. And it really sent me running away from all ages or kids comics in a way that is not helpful to any of us in this industry, because without a young audience, you don't have a future. They need to grow into this. They need to love this medium. So, I didn't create Jeff with the sole intention of like, let's get kid readers, but that is 100% what he's turned into, especially with his, that's one of the reasons I was excited about doing the mini series, because, the unlimited strip basically has no words in it. You'll occasionally see a written word, like, on that cover where you've got Jeff and Krypto, like you might see that in the comic. And I think we use Jeff and no are like the two words that get said by people, but that's about it. And so that's a great comic for young kids who are trying to understand comics, who are needing help with their reading or learning to read. But I loved that we could still maintain the integrity of Jeff not talking and do a 5-issue miniseries, but bring in other characters and solve it in a different way, so that book is maybe a good stepping stone for kids who are ready to move into more comics and move away from just a silent comic, right? But, jury's out on whether that kind of stuff works, or whether all that matters is your character was in a really popular video game and a lot of people fell for him and now they'll read his books. Like, it's hard to know, like, oh, am I doing the right thing, or did I do the right thing? And now if an audience comes around, it'll be there for them. Like, you don't know. You're just trying to create this stuff and hoping some of it'll get through,
Mm-hmm. So yes, we have Jeff for the kids, and then like you said, you're mostly at DC now, not like, just to Jeff at Marvel, but Absolute Wonder Woman. I mean, that I can't, they can't shut up about Absolute Wonder Woman.
It's been a really cool experience. I'm very grateful for like the sort of perfect confluence of events that ended up putting me in the position where I was able to do that book, and I hope I'm doing it and Diana and justice. It feels a little bit like the book I was born to do, which is a funny thing to say at the same time that Jeff is sort of taking off, because I feel similarly about both those things. They're sort of the biggest, best things I've done in my mind, but they're sort of so different in a way, but they're also not. I mean, like, I feel like Diana and Jeff would get along really well. Like they have similar approaches to things in a way. So it's been fun to play with those two sides of heroes, very different, but a lot of commonality.
And Birds of Prey. I mean, please tell me there's no end in sight still for Birds of Prey.
I don't know that I can say that, but I think, I mean, I love doing the book, but we're in a long run at this point. I mean, we just had issue 25 come out, so I think that's
an amazing run these days.
It's the second longest run I've ever gotten to do, I think. So, I don't know what the future holds for sure for it, but I've had a hell of a time. It was, when I took it on, like, I never imagined we'd get. I mean, part of the reason I picked that weird ass team I picked was because I thought, what if we only do one arc? I'm going to just reach for the stuff that I think is the coolest, So, it was my first, other than a short for Harley Quinn, it was just the first thing I'd done for DC. So I had no idea, like, is this going to hit or not? And, man, it really hit. Like, we've had a huge long run, and I'm super grateful for it. It's been super fun to write that. It's been, it's such a different animal than Diana in Absolute Wonder Woman. It's been weird to write them at the same time, but I've really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, I mean, everyone's like, I think they knew it. It's like, oh hey, Black Canary, Oracle, we get that. But again, I don't think anyone saw Barda and Cassandra Cain.
Yeah.
That partnership.
And they were just such magic together. I didn't know for sure that was going to happen, but man, yeah, they just clicked on the page, and I could see we really had something there. So it was exciting.
Yeah, I could just feel the words flowing out of you in that Birds of Prey book.
Thank you.
So yeah, but again, I mean, 25 issues. It does, these days. That's a damn miracle. Again, I always trumpet your biggest triumph. You got a Captain Marvel book to 50 issues, and who gets 50 issues these days if you're not Batman or Spider-Man?
Yeah, right. It's pretty rare. And it felt, even then, it felt like pretty pretty shockingly shocking. I think I especially seeing it, I think the hardest thing about that is seeing it not continue after you leave. I mean, I guess maybe some people look at that and think, oh, maybe that makes you feel good, like, oh, you were the one, or whatever. But it's not like that, because you want you love the character, you fell in love with the character while you were writing them, especially over 50 issues, and you want it to be strong enough, and you want her to be strong enough to survive regardless. And it's hard, and it feels a little bit like a failure to feel like, oh, maybe there were other things I could have done to like shore this up or to build it better for whoever's coming next. I think it's a little hard. So I don't know. I don't think, I don't think Marvel is abandoning Carol anytime soon, but the market is really tough right now. So it's, a lot of tough choices. I hope they're building something cool for her though, because she's a great character.
Say, is that why a lot of you guys were saying, I mean, it felt like they used to let comics go on for longer before they would cancel it. Is it just because it's getting more expensive now?
I think it's a combination of things. I think there's less readership because there's so much other media than there used to be, right? It used to be, now it's like infinite streaming, infinite TikTok, infinite, whatever. There's just a lot. Yeah. There's a lot to compete for your dollar. And frankly, I love the medium. I'm whatever, comic pilled, whatever you want to call it, where I'm in the tank, but it would be pretty hard to pretend with any seriousness that comics are of dollar value that's good. I mean, they're a high price for a short amount of reading time. So, you can get, rent a movie on some platform for $5 and you're entertained for 2 hours. And if you buy a comic for $5, it's about 10 minutes, if you're lucky. So I think that there are a lot of factors that pull at that. Increased price, shrinking audience, more endless media to consume for everyone. So it's a lot of things. But yeah, I mean, it's being a comic book writer now is just a completely different thing than the comics I was reading. I mean, Chris Claremont got to spend however long he needed on whatever story he was doing. And while he was doing that story, he built up B and C plots. But if you build up B and C plots now, probably your readers are going to be frustrated because they didn't ever get to see those stories come to fruition because you got canceled before you could have played those out. So it's really hard. I mean, that was actually something I really struggled with on Captain Marvel. And, we were never given the runway something like Al's Immortal Hulk was doing because we were never as successful as Immortal Hulk. But, I was used to writing for the trade and being canceled, 12 issues, 15, whatever, where are we getting to? So when we just kept going, it was a surprise to me. And we never had the runway to really build the way we wanted. But also, I would have had trouble doing that. That's just not how they teach you to do it now. Building up a B plot and a C plot that you're going to pay off in, the 2 arcs from now. It's a bygone, I'm sorry to say, unless you've got like, Brian K. Vaughan level of success in your title where you can really afford to do that. But that's a complete rarity now.
Oh yeah, like you mentioned, Chris Claremont. What was it, like 18 years on X-Men? So he could be like, "Oh, remember this thing I mentioned 5 years ago? Yeah, let's go back to that."
Yeah,
right.
But it really is sad though, because I really remember, you would see some 2-page scene, right, that was a cutaway from the main action, and I would get so excited about, oh, that's what's coming. Oh, we're gonna see this story with these characters. Oh wow, like it was like a great built-in ad for it, but in an organic, non-shitty way. And I'm sad that we don't really have that anymore. But also, I guess I should be grateful because I'll be honest with you, I don't know how to do that. That's not what they train you to do now. It's hard to find that room. I think the closest I've come to doing that was trying to do it with Birds. Where we were building that villains were sort of involved and or responsible behind the scenes from arc to arc as things were going on. But it's very hard to, I think some of it's my failure, but I think also it's hard for audiences because while I'm not used to writing that way, they're not used to reading that way now. So like some of the hints I was laying and some of the things I was putting out there to connect these things together, I don't know how much people actually connected them because they're not used to reading that way. And again, mea culpa, I'm not used to writing that way. So I'm sure I could have done a better job sometimes making those connections. But I mean, I have to say that's one of the things I struggle with most these days is that balance between, you know, subtlety and making sure everyone got it, you know, because there's a huge gap in reading comprehension here. Like, and people who understand that things happen in the gutters and that it's your job to connect those things with your brain from across the gutter. But like, not everyone gets that. Not everyone understands that. I mean, you wouldn't believe how many conversations I have with readers who are like, well, but what happened there? And I'm like, well, your brain just does it. Like, what do you think happened there? And then they're like, well, probably blah, 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 blah. I was like, great job. That's what happened there. And they're like, but how do I know that? And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how to help you now. So it's tricky. So where do you find the line, right? Do you want something that just slams every fucking lesson into someone's face and like spoon feeds them every little detail? Or do you want some of your audience to be like, I didn't get it. You know, like it's really hard. I struggle with it a lot, actually. And I struggle with it as a viewer of other medium too. Like, you know, we were watching something, I won't name it, but they were doing an incredible job of getting their themes across, right? Just organically within the story. I felt for these characters. I understood everything that was happening. And then all of a sudden, a few episodes in, it was like a limited series or a TV season, a few episodes in, it was like you could hear the note they got from the studio or whoever. And the character basically like turned to the audience and explained everything that had been happening, every little feeling she had been feeling. And I was like, what are you doing? I was like screaming at the TV because it took all this like really emotional shit that I really connected to and was locked in on. And then they just watered it down and did it like a monologue or a soliloquy. And I was furious. And I mean, I just think that's like a much larger, like a macro version of some of the things that I deal with in comics. I would say that I don't know that was for sure a note. Maybe that was something they did on their own. But I will say that I think comics editors and publishers, they do really understand the medium. And so mostly they don't make you do that. They'll ask for clarity. Can we change this? You know, this doesn't work, whatever. I'm not saying they don't give notes, but I have almost never had a note from them like that, which I really appreciate. Because, you know, if at the end of this really emotional Black Widow arc, she had to like turn to the camera and explain the plot that just happened. What a nightmare, right? And that was what happened on that show. I truly couldn't believe it.
And comics is just so unique too because you don't know how people are going to digest it. It's like, are they going to read single issues, either paper or digital, or are they going to get the trade? So it's like, are they going to read this a chapter at a time? Or are they just going to read a whole trade at a time?
Yeah, it's tricky.
And then just like a distribution, like when we were young, it's not the same now. You don't just like run in the comics in the wild. You kind of have to seek them out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's another one to throw on the pile is for sure the accessibility. And forget that, you know, if you're in like a small town, I mean, forget it. Like I mean, it's a good thing we have digital in that respect. I think that helps a lot with the gatekeeping of it all. But, you know, then you feel bad about feeling good about that because you know that it's the lifeblood of comic shops. So it's like, you know, it's like everything in my life. I'm like, oh, there's no way for this to be good. It's all
there's no winning.
There's no winning. It's all bad choices.
We do have the internet. People can order online from comic shops too. So
yeah, it's true. It's true. But you know, it's mostly not happening that way. I mean,
no.
But anyway. I do like that about Jeff. I've been told by a lot of retailers that it's a book they can really move.
Oh, nice.
I think he does well digitally probably as well, because it's great for parents to be like, yes, here's this silent Jeff strip you can scroll through. Have that on the phone, you know. But it's great that Jeff is so sort of widely picked up for retailers as well. So it's great.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They should start pushing some Jeff books. I don't know if they do already, but at some of like the book fairs at the schools and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He'd be good in that respect for sure.
Like the elementary schools and stuff. Yeah. Heck, I mean, I could see Jeff like teaching kids how to read, and just either on the printed page, or you do it like a Disney Junior cartoon.
A little cartoon.
Have them shows for teaching them how to count and stuff.
Yeah,
Jeff doing that.
He's great in that respect. All sorts of things like that. I think he's great for both reading in general because of the low dialogue count, and then also just for understanding how to read comics. Like for all those people who don't understand that something happens in the gutter, I feel like giving them Jeff early on teaches you those skills, right? Because the nature of a comic is you have to leave stuff for the gutter. There's not enough room, there's not enough time, there's not enough page. So and when kids are learning from a master like Gurihiru, who can just do that without words, who knows how to make every expression and body language convey, it's a great educational tool.
And we need commercials like before and after movies, like when you go see a Marvel movie. Because I mean, I went to was it Thunderbolts? I think I went and saw, and there was a commercial right before it for I think it was for Rivals for the game, and I was just like, well, how about
do you remember
the comics?
Was it like 2010, something like that, where when the DC Justice League Dark was coming out? Anyway, they were doing ads on television, like MTV and all sorts of things. Yeah, I saw a couple of them live in the wild, and I was like, oh my God, that's so great. Like ads, commercials for comics. It did not last long, I'm sure, because it's very expensive and it probably didn't move numbers fast enough. But it was a thing where you were like, of course they should be advertised. Every other fucking thing gets advertised. I mean, I know we don't have any time to advertise fun things to us, and it's just got to be medication every day. But sorry, I've been watching too much Game Show Network last week. and man, they just think everyone watching that show is dying from something.
Yeah, I've seen so many ads for New Becca in the last 2 weeks. Like I think I hear them in my sleep now.
It's crazy. I did see one that looked good though. That I was gonna I'm gonna try that for something. So I guess it's not a waste. Total.
We can cure your acne, but you might bleed out of your rectum.
I know they have to cover themselves, but man, that list of side effects for me feels like it's brutal. Longer and longer, right? Yeah. You're like, wait a minute, I know I'm not definitely getting these, but aren't these side effects worse than the thing I'm trying to
say? Yeah, and half of them are targeted around the genitals, like all this like stuff around the genitals. I'm like, what's going on here? What kind of ingredients are they using here?
Yeah, it's
trade secret. They can't tell you that.
That's right. We don't want to know.
You'll gain self-confidence, but you might die. Oh, did you know you can get cash for gold?
Oh, yes.
All right, so we talked about today's Deadpool, Batman, and Jeff. We talked Absolute Wonder Woman. We talked Birds of Prey. Kelly, what else are you up to? Because I know you're not at 3. I know you got more.
Well, I'm doing Buffy and
that's right
at Dynamite. And
no, for sure we're gonna bug you when those come out.
Yeah, I have to say I have not figured out how I'm going to talk about this yet. It's a very specific pitch. And it's very hard to talk around the specificity of it, and talking about it too much is 100% going to spoil the reading experience for, if not the Buffy #1, if probably just the Buffy #1, but maybe also the Angel #1, because they're pretty closely tied together. So I'm going to have to figure something out. I do think we'll wait until we've got some more great art covers and interiors and stuff like that before we start a big PR press, if only just to protect me from having to talk too much about what it is. I think the best way to pitch it is to say that if you have ever been a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer or would like to be a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, this is for you. You don't have to have you don't need to ever read any of the comics, because that is, there's a lot of really good stuff out there, but it's very confusing. So it's disconnected from any comics, so you don't have to worry about that. And you don't have to have seen the show. We write it in a way that you can read it without having seen the show, but I cannot deny that your experience will be far richer if you know the characters and have seen at least some of the show. It's not a reboot where they all have to start over, nor is it them as adults. So it's somewhere in the middle of that. And I will just say, I hope you guys can trust me with it. I am a true, long-lasting fan. I don't know if anyone on my Substack saw that I can name every single episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, all 7 seasons, in 20 minutes. I did a quiz.
Oh.
Not that qualifies you for anything, but I just thought it was a nice detail. It's very exciting. I think the scripts for Buffy 1 and Angel 1 are... Buffy 1 in particular was one of the hardest scripts I've ever had to write.
Okay.
That doesn't mean it's the best script I've ever written, but I do think it does some really tricky things pretty well. And I hope it's really emotional for fans. So we'll see.
And they didn't announce a date yet today.
No date yet. Yeah, we're still getting ducks in rows.
Okay. Yes, I know. I was excited to hear you were writing these as a fan of both shows, and I know super mega Buffy fan Lilith was very excited to hear you were writing stuff.
Yeah, tell her she missed out. Although I didn't give any special details, so I guess it's not that great. But yeah, I'm very excited about it. The 2 books for the first arc, they're pretty closely tied together, which was sort of the only way I felt I could do this like really big weird story. After that, it will separate a little bit more, and it'll fall more into what I would consider like Angel being like supernatural detective vibes, and Buffy being more not high school horror, but small town horror, something like that.
So yeah, so we will definitely be bugging you for those. Kids, any questions?
Well, the last time that we spoke, you had just released Scarlet.
Yes.
Yeah. And we were super excited to cover the rest of that on the show. And I have to ask if there's any possible return to that hemisphere of story.
I would love to do more Scarlet. I would certainly sort of drop everything almost if I could, if
nice.
There was like a Scarlet Snake Eyes thing in particular. That was like who I shipped before I even knew what shipping was, before it was even a thing. So I love those characters together.
Yes.
But I think maybe they don't want me back, maybe they don't have plans, or maybe they just know my calendar, my dance card is a little full right now, so we haven't talked about it, but I would definitely be open to it. I love doing it, and Skybound is great, especially if I got to work with Ben Abernathy again. He's one of my favorite editors. So
nice. Yeah, that was a great miniseries. We
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed that. Yeah,
thank you.
And I don't know if you remember when we were talking about it, I mentioned one of my favorite Scarlet moments, which was in the animated series when she smacks Destro across the face with her crossbow. Did you ever get a chance to go back and watch that clip after we talked about it?
I think I did see it. I don't know that I was looking specifically for that, but I was watching a bunch of episodes, and
nice,
I saw a lot of bizarre greatness like that.
Yeah, there's so much bizarreness that happens in that show. It's great.
I mean, you might get a shot at more Scarlet. I don't think they've touched that character in the Underdrawn universe since that miniseries.
I don't think so either. Yeah, the time is right.
Well, I would love for that to mean that I can come back, but I hope that means I didn't strand her. I mean, I guess I sort of did. I just thought that they were going to go in there and get her out. I mean, not immediately, but I thought it's a good place for her to be in to play part of this cog in this wheel. So
Right. Yeah.
Kelly's like, yay, yes, give me a 6th monthly book. Yes.
It might be straining things.
I don't know. That seems unfortunately that seems to be the norm these days. People doing probably like a few books above their comfort level.
Yeah, I mean, if rates were better, you could probably get away with doing a little bit less, which feels like it would sort of be better for everyone. But yeah, the market's pretty tough, so there's a lot of people out here hustling.
Oh yeah, I mean Kelly, we know a writer. He worked in the '90s. He just did something recently. He said his rate was the same it was in the '90s.
Yeah, that's so fucking depressing, man. And I believe it. I'm sure it's true. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
And there's also there's a thing where like I came in at a time when rates were really depressed already. So like, when I hear rumors of what rates some other writers, A-list writers are getting, I like, my mouth drops open. Like, it's shocking. But I think there's also a thing where, as much as I'd like a higher rate within reason, yeah, I don't know. I guess I just worry too much about these kind of things, but it just feels like at some of those rates, you're pricing yourself out of getting offers. And I don't know. I'm sure any agent or manager anyway, or lawyer would be like, stop saying that, stop thinking that way. Like, you have to have value for your work and like believe in it or whatever. So I'm sure a little bit that is me always blaming myself for everything. But yeah, I think that it can be really scary out there. Like, they're very good about like keeping all that stuff private, so writers don't talk to each other, artists don't talk to each other about these things, and it's just easy to get sort of trapped in that cycle. So I will say that when I've reached out to people in the industry, when I've had questions or wanted to check something, I've found a really good community in that respect. So I think if you ask and you're really looking for answers, like, you can find some help. But it is true that just on the face of it, it sort of looks very smooth and like nobody has any information, which is not great for freelancers.
Yeah, anytime the prices go up, I'm like, man, I wouldn't mind if I knew like for the writers, the art team were getting a cut of this, but
But also, in fairness, I mean, not that publishers need me to be like carrying their water for them, but like, you can't deny, like, especially right now with all the tariff shit.
Oh yeah.
But the price of paper goes up, the price of ink and printing goes up, the price of shipping things cross country goes up. So it's like when you see that dollar raise on your book and you're incensed, and I get it, I've been there even recently. That dollar is going to a lot of pieces of the pie. Hopefully it's also going to your creative team a little bit, but there's a lot speaking for that money. It's pretty hard. I mean, I think that I don't want to be I don't want to be carrying water for every good or bad publisher out there, but like trying to do my own books, it's a great lesson. The same way I feel like if I was doing reviewing these days, I don't want to say I wouldn't speak truth, but I just understand things better. I just have more information. I'd be a lot less likely to hold people's feet to the fire on little things that I know now. They're just hard. It's hard to control every little aspect of this. And I feel the same way about, the finances. Like, I mean, I had a hell of a time like doing those books, and I had good funding. So, I get it. It's a real art, and the margins are thinner than you want it to be. And that makes it a tough gig for everyone. But I think maybe in some of this complaining and analysis, we're losing that it's a really incredible job. Like, it's your dream job. And so, you're willing to try to put up with some things for your dream job and try to make it work. And that's probably good and bad. There's probably good and bad to that. I
mean, yeah, let's end on a high note where it's like a lot of people are just like, I'm not making a lot of money and I don't like my job. At least you love your job. Right?
Yeah, no, for sure. My brothers, one of them has never really found his niche. The other one found a niche, but doing something he does not enjoy. and they're both very jealous of, not that I have this career, but that I sort of got the memo. Like when I was studying graphic design in college, I like got basically a bright neon sign going, "Hey, you are on the wrong path. If you do not, it's going to only get progressively more difficult for you if you don't get off this path that you're on, because it's the wrong one." And so I switched to comics, and, you know, for good or ill, that was the right path for my passion, at least. And it really saved me. And, you know, my brother said to me one time, he goes, I never had that moment. I was like, well, listen, most people don't. I was very lucky. It doesn't mean you shouldn't go after things, or whatever. But I'm just aware that a lot of people either don't get the opportunities that I did, or never even really know what they should be driving for. So I'm very fortunate in those respects.
And you're good at your job, because I swear, anytime I see new announcements, I'm like, oh crap, there goes my wallet. Okay.
Well, thank you, Phil. It's people like you keeping me alive.
All right. So before we go, do you want to promote? Is there any other projects? The newsletter.
This is all I can talk about. Oh, I guess I could say that on the Jeff front, Guri Hiru did the first 2 episodes of a Jeff Week thing that starts coming out. Gosh, it might be this week. Maybe it's next week. It's very soon. It'll be a digital episode coming out every day. And then there will be another one of those Jeff Week things coming in October, but that'll be 1 a week leading up to Halloween, kind of a thing. So expect some fun costumes, and that will be drawn fully by Guri Hiru. And it's great to be working with them again. So.
Oh, sweet. A Jeff Halloween special. Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, for those of us who don't know, where will these Jeff things be?
Marvel Unlimited.
So I guess I don't really know the answer to that. What a great employee.
Probably Marvel Unlimited, right? I think.
Well, I'm sure they are, but I feel like when they did the first Jeff Week last summer, which I didn't write or draw, I felt like they were just on like Twitter and shit. They were on social media. Like I was seeing them everywhere. Maybe they were just pirated and that's how they got there, but certainly I would expect they'll be on Marvel Unlimited. I also expect they'll be collected, but I also think if you're just looking around online, you might see a lot of them. I mean, there's an Instagram channel that just reposts the entire strips. I don't know why they don't get in trouble, but it's the Wild West out there, man. What are you gonna do?
But yeah, I think a lot of those they do after they're digital for a while. They do collect them in comic form.
No, they definitely. It'll be in a print eventually, but I suspect the safe bet for this one coming out immediately and the one that's following up in October, I'm sure they'll be on Marvel Unlimited, but maybe they'll just be on social media. Like they're definitely designed to be a special. So perhaps they're as much about advertising as anything else. I'm not sure. I should get that answer. Thank you, Kristen. And I apologize.
That's all right. I'll keep my eyes peeled, as they say.
Yeah, great industry, right? Nobody knows the answer. Just keep an eye out.
When you see it, you'll know.
Yeah, tell the powers that be. Yeah, let's dethrone Charlie Brown. Jeff needs to be the new. Have the Halloween specials,
Yes.
Christmas specials, the Thanksgiving specials.
It's Jeff. Is someone gonna give Jeff a rock for Halloween?
I mean, that would kick off a revenge tour if someone gave him a rock, or he would just eat it and be like, "It's pretty good." I do think, man, that would be fun if Jeff had a Halloween special that just became a feature of people watch something they watch every year. Honestly, that would bring me a lot of joy.
I mean, Disney Plus, come on.
Yeah, that would bring me.
They could do it for Shark Week too. They could do an annual Shark Week thing. Yeah.
Well,
maybe Jeff needs to take an underserved holiday. So like Jeff and St. Patrick's Day,
Labor Day. Arbor Day.
Yes. Yeah.
It's true, but I will say that he does love dressing up. Are there any other dressing up holidays? No, really. Not so much.
Not really.
Oh, Jeff Cupid on Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he wants more costumes in that film. Get serious.
Yeah.
Not gonna
I
be
can
just
see him with a
having
little
one
Santa hat.
costume.
I forgot.
I
Just
can see
Yeah,
him with a
Halloween
Santa hat.
is the best for that.
like I said, your newsletter.
Oh, yes, the newsletter. 1979 semifinalist.substack.com. That is the best place to stay in touch with me, especially given the way social media is. And if you're worried about getting too many newsletters, I can assure you that's not a problem. I'm always running behind. At most, you'll get like two a month, I think is probably the low key. There's a free version and there's a paid version. Actually, there's no paid version right now because I paused the payments for everyone, because usually there's like new comics on there, new Black Cloak and new Cull, but because we haven't had anything new like that for a while, I don't know, I don't want people just paying for the newsletter without content. I can't believe I just said content like a positive thing. Fuck. Anyway, without any great new original stories, I don't feel great about the charging, so I've put it on pause for a while. But you can still subscribe for the free one and keep up and stay in touch.
Yeah, if you want to know any Kelly Thompson project, yeah, that's the best play.
Yeah, I put lots of sneak peeks and fun stuff on there, and sometimes just complaining. Photos of cats, Kristen.
All right, sounds good. How many cats do you have?
I have two. They're called the Monarch and Clive Warren. They are amazing, and they went to the vet yesterday.
I know. I haven't heard anything from them. Usually, you at least get one of them talking a
honestly,
little bit.
If we had this scheduled for yesterday, I would have had to cancel. Monarch talked all day, just crying, walking around, letting us know he had to go to the vet as if we weren't there for every minute. Just never shut up. It was exhausting. He finally got quiet in the evening, but man, I would have had to cancel, I think, because it would have just been right in the headset every like 30 seconds. It's awful. And he's very talkative, and I like that because I like to talk back to them, and I feel like it's how we're communicating. But dude, give it up.
I was gonna say Justin's a cat dad too.
Oh yeah, I have conversations with my cat all the time.
Yeah. What else are we gonna do?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So yes, once again, thank you, Kelly. I mean,
yes, thank you.
Again, you do more appearances on here than just about anybody. So thank you for putting up with us time and time again.
Of course. Thanks for having me. Tell Lilith I missed her.
Oh, I'll tell her.
Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love her work, but just talking to her, she's great.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I forgot. I can't believe I forgot Buffy and Angel. Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, it's coming soon.
They announced it, I think, at Comic-Con, but yeah, there's no date yet, or so.
Oh, okay. I thought
So did you guys watch the Buffy show?
Yeah, like
a little bit. Yeah, I was. Yeah,
I was always like in and out on Buffy, but Angel, yeah, I was there like every episode, all 5 seasons.
See, the movie was my jam.
Oh,
yeah, I love that movie.
I haven't seen any of it because we didn't get that channel when I was a kid.
No.
Oh yeah, wasn't it like UPN instead?
Yeah, one of those. Yeah.
There's got to be streaming somewhere, I think.
I'm sure it is, but she said you don't have to know Buffy to read it, so there you go.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, all her great works. Like she even mentioned, real quick, that Black Widow series. That was a great story.
Oh yeah.
Very, very emotional. I think that was like 10 or 12 issues, but which I'm sure you can find in trade. All right, so I'm gonna yell at Lil for missing this. No, I'm sure she probably.
She'll be back for the Buffy chat for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure she fell asleep or something because she loves Kelly.
Yeah, she'll be back for the Buffy chat.
But yes, so that's coming up here. We're gonna have. Well, I'm probably. Recording and scheduling are probably going to be a little different, but we're going to have 2 Jason Olsen episodes coming up. JMD Mateus rescheduling after he came down with something. So, yeah, so stay tuned for all those interviews. DG Chichester will be back. And got a lot of fun stuff planned for October, kids.
Yeah.
Halloween stuff. And an interview for Legacy episode 400.
Yes, just a recently acquired interview.
Mm-hmm.
Podfather working overtime.
Yeah. We'll see if Ray can even
You
show
make someone an offer they couldn't refuse.
Hey, want to come and make an appearance for no money? Talk to a bunch of nerds.
Okay, let's actually do the podcast that we get paid nothing for.
All right, kids. So yes, send us your thoughts, or if you're a creator, I mean, we love to talk to you. CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. You can find us on pretty much all social media now, including Reddit and TikTok. Like I said, TikTok views have been they've been getting pretty good views there. So thank you for watching this on TikTok. Thank you, and keep watching. Tell your friends. You can help support us by buying merch.
Tell your enemies.
I don't care if your enemies want to watch too. That's fine.
As I said, you said tell your friends. I said tell your enemies.
Tell your grandma. All right. So yes, you can buy merch at TeePublic in spring, or Lil Hellfire's preferred method. Yes, just give us money for no reason at on the Cash App, Capes and Lunatics.
We need the money. Gimme.
And of course the Patreon, where again you get exclusive uncensored content every month. And if you are a Patreon subscriber, as Justin is, you can request topics for us to discuss. Doesn't have to be comics, it can be pretty much anything. Yep. So yes, you can find that at Patreon, and go subscribe, patreon.com/CapesandLunatics, exclusive, uncensored, and really
fucking crazy.
Justin, as much as I love you, I love drunken Justin more.
It's because he's so rare. He makes such rare.
No, that's true. Bottles it up for
absence
once
makes
a year.
The heart grow fonder. You know?
Once a year appearance.
Bottles it up just like alcohol.
Or medicinal something. All right. Yeah. And speaking of Hootie, yes, you can catch him on his own podcast, The Lost Library of Legends. Tell him all about it.
That's right. Over in the Lost Library, I'll be doing a spotlight this month on an image series from the 90s called The 10th. And I have been working behind the scenes to secure some special guest co-hosts on The Weeds of Crime, The Shadow in comics.
Ooh, anyone I know?
I think so. Yeah, I'm going to announce it later once we get closer to November. But yeah, I think you do know them. Yeah.
I was going to say, you're not going to announce yet?
The Hard Master.
I don't know if he's a fan of the Shadow. He might be.
Oh,
maybe.
All right, and again, you can also go to Amazon, pick up Kristen's book, Dick Grayson, Boy Wonder. Heard all about her favorite character. One of her favorite characters, Dick Grayson. Definitely her most favorite character in comics, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say there's no contest. Yes, so
obviously.
Yes, pick up Dick Grayson, Boy Wonder. If it was history, it'd be another thing. But yes, it's comics. It's definitely Dick Grayson. So yes. And then find me all over social media at PodFatherPhil. All right. Let's get out of here. Hey, who wants to do Lunatics this week?
Justin, do you want to be the lunatic, or do you want to
Sure,
be
I'll do the Lunatics.
Sure, he's the male lunatic.
Yeah.
All right, kids. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Kelly Thompson, for always sharing your time, which I know is very limited. For another week, another episode, we have been your Capes.
Ampersand.
Lunatics.
Nice. But yeah, Jason Olsen, JMD McKay, Stevie Chichester, all coming up.
So many interviews.
Oh, I guess I could say who's going to be in episode 400. Joe Harris.
Yeah.
So we were talking some slingers from the 90s.
Writer of slingers.
Yeah, he's written a bunch of stuff in comics.
Yeah. Love it.
So it was so funny because it was like, I was like, oh man, can I get something special for that, Legacy 400? And then that Slingers episode just happened to land there, and I was like, oh wait, can I get Joe Harris? Great. Nice.
I like how we have legacy numbering just like a comic book.
That's right. We know how to play.